My next guest is the co-founder of the Center for Equity and Inclusion and is out with a new book with a powerful message. Hanif Fazal is the author of An Other World, The Fight for Freedom, Joy, and Belonging. It's a mix of social commentary and his journey towards Black and brown joy. Hanif joins me now. Welcome to New Day.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited. We were talking already. I'm halfway through your book and I'm loving it so far. Why did you decide to write this book?
So great question. I wanted to write a book about communities of color or people of color's experience of race and identity that wasn't traumatizing to people of color. A book that people of color would be able to find themselves in and challenge us to grow in healthy ways. So, really a book that allowed people of color to dive into their experience of race and identity in a safe and empowering way. Honestly, when we wrote the book, the real goal was I wanted to write a book at the end of the day that people of color would hug.
Wow, I love that. That is amazing. And kind of for your daughter, right? Can you
Absolutely.
speak on that?
Absolutely. So, Amina, my daughter, is central part of the book, and I think in a lot of ways, in the book in a lot of ways is about transformative relationships. And I think one of the things that I think about as an author is that within communities of color, there's almost a single story kind of way our experiences around race and identity are depicted. And that's one around survival. Like our relationships only exist with one another so that we can survive. But in my most intimate relationships, in my most professional relationships with folks of color, whether it's my daughter Amina or whether it's in the workspace, those relationships were really transformative in a really powerful way. And so from an author's point of view, it provided a really unique opportunity, which is how do I tell a story that's not just about us surviving, but really is about us thriving, right? And so even with me and Amina, the whole relationship isn't like, hey, how do we just survive? The whole relationship is about, hey, what does it mean for us to thrive? And I guess I feel like that's the compelling story is for communities of color is like we know how to survive. We've been surviving,
Yes.
but do we really know what it means to thrive? And do we really believe that things like joy, freedom, belonging are available to us? And even if they are, will we even know where to find it? So so Amina is really central, like a central character in the book, because she provides one example as parents of what it means to be in relationships that are transformative in nature and push us to these things called freedom, joy, and belonging.
That is just so beautifully said. And I feel like I love, so far reading the book, how you talk about present time, with your daughter and experiencing that and then going to your past. So talk about that and living in Portland and how that kind of adds to this storyline.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this before. I think when we experience life, we don't experience life just strictly in the present moment. I mean, I wish I could just stay present in all
Yes,
things that I do,
Yes.
right? But more often than not, when I experience life, I have this moment that might be really moving in all kinds of ways, but it pushes me back to reflect one way or the other on experiences I had in my life. It's almost like milestone in some ways, or it has me think about the future in another kind of way. So I wanted to write up the book in a way that was really, I think, reflective of how we experience life. I have this moment, and it's not just this moment. This moment is a cumulative impact in some ways of all these other moments that I've had in my life. And so to really write in that kind of range, I just felt like captured how we really do life.
So amazing. And the subtitle of this book reads, The Struggle for Joy, Freedom, and Belonging. Can you talk about the word choice and its significance?
Yeah, I mean, I think we use words like thriving a lot, and I wanted to really unpack what does thriving mean. In so much of my work with communities of color, what I keep seeing is that there are things like joy, freedom, and belonging that we're really wanting, and that we're not always, again, sure of where it exists, how to get there, how to nurture those spaces or places or people who bring that to us. And so really framing the book about, again, not a struggle to survive, but a struggle to really find what does joy mean for communities of color? Is it possible for us to thrive in systems that were often designed for our own oppression? Like, how do we do that? I just felt like was really capturing who we are and where we are right now. And I think communities of color are really looking for something that's just not a story about oppression, but is really challenging and uplifting us to experience these things that we all deserve, want, and then ask us, like, hey, not only where do they live, but what's our responsibility in cultivating and nurturing those kinds of spaces? And is it possible that joy, freedom, and belonging could actually be available to us?
Wow. And is that what you want the takeaway, I guess, to be after people are reading the book, or, if people have already read the book and talked to you about just their feelings on it so far?
Yeah, certainly, like, as an author, and especially when I'm writing in this personal way, I always want one of the takeaways for communities of color to feel like they're seen, they feel like they're understood, represented. Definitely, though, the underpinning of the book is to have folks of color be really focused on, hey, I understand that things like joy, freedom, and belonging are available to us, and I'm learning that those things are going to be available to us actually in relationship with one another. And so to me, the impact would be that we as a community of color are really diving into the conversation about what it means for us to really come together as a community, really build those kinds of relationships where those things can really exist for us. And then for the white readers to be really in reflection around, what's my role in all of this? What's my role in cultivating spaces in which it's not a struggle or a fight for freedom, joy, and belonging, but that comes at, maybe it's a little easier to access for all of us.
Wow, you are absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to finish this book and then ping you and tell you
Please,
what I think.
I want to hear.
I'm halfway through. I'm close. So
Okay.
Thank you. And just a reminder, Hanif is holding an author event on Wednesday, October 25th at 7 p.m. at the Elliott Bay Book Company on Seattle's Capitol Hill.